Hi, this is Graham Bonnet, and you're watching The Metal Voice.
Say farewell to the future, get ready for the ride. We're going down to hell tonight, so strap yourself inside. There's a glaring contradiction in your world that's made of glass. Something small can shatter it and nail you to the past. The road beneath your wheels, the madness that you feel. Oh, you will pay with your life.
Welcome to The Metal Voice. Today on the show, we're going all the way to Japan and talk to Graham Bonnet, former Alcatrazz, former Rainbow singer, and of course, former Michael Schenker Group singer as well. How you doing today, Graham?
I'm doing okay. It's been a nice tour out here, and feeling tired, but very happy about the results of the tour.
Yeah, I know you also have a new EP or a two-song EP. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's just go briefly into your past. We'll start off, my friend, with the Rainbow years. You know, how did you get in touch with Richie? What was the audition process like when you first started with Richie Blackmore?
Well, that was by pure mistake. It was an accident, sort of thing. They were having a competition at the house where they were recording the new album, and they didn't have a singer. They auditioned a whole bunch of singers, and having this competition, spot the tune. And they were playing tapes, and one of the tapes just happened to be one of my old songs called Only One Woman from 1968 that I recorded with my cousin, the Marbles. And Richie said, "Where is this guy now? Where is he?" You know, and Roger Glover just happened to be working with one of my friends as well, and Roger was working obviously on the Rainbow album at the time, producing and playing bass, and he was working with Mickey Moody, and Mickey and I were friends, and we were managed by the same company. And so they got in touch with me through my company, and they said, "Would you like to come over and audition for the band Rainbow?" I said, I didn't know who Rainbow was, and so I had to go out. I had to go out and buy some albums by Rainbow, and see exactly what they wanted me to do and what they wanted me to do as an audition song. So I went over there into on the border of Switzerland, France, and I auditioned with a song called Mistreated, and they kind of gave me the job straight away, but I wasn't sure I was right for the band because I wasn't really into that kind of music, and it was totally alien to me. But it was a good move that I made, and they accepted me into the band with the short hair and all, you know. So it was a turning point in my career musically.
How much did you contribute to that album? I mean, did Richie, was he flexible? Did he let you spread your wings?
Yeah, well, what happened is now I wish I'd actually gotten into the songwriting royalties part of it, because I realized that I'd actually written just about every track, the melodies at least. Roger had a basic idea for the melodies. Richie just said, "Sing whatever you like." And Roger had an idea where, you know, verses should go and, you know, middle parts or whatever it may be, and harmonies. But I was given free range to take it, you know, any which way I wanted to interpret a certain melody any way I wanted to do. Roger had written the words, and so I would, you know, bend around the melodies. We recorded probably 4 times each song in different, with different melodies for verses and choruses, etc. And so I was actually writing the melodies, but didn't realize this. Now I do, and I wish to hell I didn't know something about it at the time. I was a new kid on the block and very green. You know, it was something that I didn't understand, and I didn't realize I was writing songs. You know, if you write any part of a melody, you're a songwriter. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I was kind of ripped off in a way. But you know, I'm proud of the album, and I'm very happy that I joined the band. But I wish I'd just sort of been a bit more business-minded and you know, clued in. I was totally green.
You're with a band. You've got some sort of success with this album, Down to Earth.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a well-oiled machine, right? At least I think it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
And, you know, why, and of course it's so volatile, the music industry. Why would you say, okay, now I'm leaving? Why would you leave? Take me through your mindset, the steps of why would you leave?
Yeah, well, Cozy left the band after the Castle Donington gig. It was his last gig, and we begged him not to go. But he had other plans, and he'd had enough of Rainbow altogether. And Cozy and I and Don Air, we were very close friends. You know, we hung out together all the time.
Yeah.
And Don said to me, he said, "Well, if Cozy leaves the band, I'm going to leave." and just we were rehearsing in Copenhagen for the next album to follow up to the Down to Earth album. And I thought, well, I said to Don, if you're going to leave, man, I said, well, where's all my family gone? You know, Cozy's gone to play with Jack Bruce or whatever he was doing at the time. And I said, well, if you leave, I'm going to leave too. So we were rehearsing in Copenhagen, trying to write songs for the next album. The only song we had was a song called I Surrender by Russ Ballard.
Yeah.
And that was the only song we had. So I put some backing vocals down to this thing. And meantime, the rehearsals were going nowhere. Nothing was being, you know, every day was unproductive. We never made up any melodies, any kind of arrangement. We had a vague arrangement to one song. And nothing was happening. Richie didn't turn up to rehearsals, songwriting rehearsals, I should say, sort of thing.
Was he lazy?
And
was he just like plain lazy? He just didn't show up, or he didn't care?
Well, yeah, I mean, the interest was gone, I think, you know, because Cozy left, a lot of the fire was gone, because it was a good bunch of friends, you know.
Yeah.
And when your friend leaves, we were very close, as I said.
But I went...
Me and Don and him.
What I meant was Richie Blackmore. I mean, he wasn't showing up. I mean, I hear so many stories about Richie Blackmore. His work ethic...
Yeah, well, I think he thought the fire was gone too, you know. And so we did this, you know, we tried to get something done. He would turn up, we'd sort of, you know, do something, but it wasn't fun for some reason. And so I said, well, I think I'm going to go home now. So I went back to LA, and they called me up, and they said to me, what's happening, Graham? Why have you gone back? I said, we're not doing anything. The band isn't happening. Don wants to leave the band, and then I was told that Don didn't want to leave the band. And so I said, well, I am, because I don't see anything happening here. And they said, well, what if we get another singer in to sing the tracks you don't like, and you can sing the tracks you do like? I said, no, that won't work. You know, it's like having another guitar player coming or something, you know. So I said, I can't do that. I just, you know, I don't see this going anyway. Anyway, they eventually got Jolene Turner in to do the thing, you know. But I never thought anything was going to happen. I somehow felt the whole band was going to fall apart. It didn't, because of like 10,000 different versions of Rainbow after I left. And it was just felt like the end of the road to me. And I just didn't want to go back. I wanted to do something different.
If Richie Blackmore called you today and said, hey, let's do a gig together, or let's get up on stage, let's do an album together, would you accept his offer? Yeah,
if he did, sure. Absolutely, I'd like to do it. Yeah, I'd love to play with Rich again. It'd be fantastic. But I don't see that happening, because I think he's moved on also. But if he ever wanted to call me, absolutely.
All right. I know that Jolene Turner's asking for a reunion with Richie Blackmore. Apparently everybody is.
Yeah, he spoke about this years ago, Jolene Turner, saying, well, I think Rainbow should reform. And he's saying, like, well, you know, I should be the guy that's singing, you know, this is Joe. I said, no, if anybody should be singing, it should be Ronnie Dio, when Ronnie was still alive. Yeah. I said, then it'd be the original Rainbow. Sure. But I know Joe is trying to get something restarted with the Rainbow reunion, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. I don't know. I think it's all, at the moment, I think it's just talk, you know.
So you moved on from Rainbow to Michael Schenker Group.
Yeah.
Assault Attack, you know, another great album. I mean, can you tell me about your experience and how you entered into that band?
Well, this again was Cozy Powell keeps coming to everything, doesn't he?
He's the link.
Yeah, I mean, he I went to see the band play at a club in L.A. I think it was the Country Club or something. I saw them play, and Cozy was playing with the band at the time, and Gary Barden was the singer, and I watched the show, and Cozy said, after the show, what do you think of the band? I said, I think it's great. I think it's amazing. It's got some great, like, guitar players, amazing, blah, 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 etc. And he said to me, you know, what would you like to be in a band like this? I said, yeah. I said, absolutely. I said, I'm probably looking to do my own thing anyway, you know, eventually, I said to him. He said, well, how about joining this band? I said, why? He said, well, we're thinking of losing the singer, you know. I said, why? He said, well, we'd rather have you. Oh. And so I was offered the job by Cozy. Make it short, we rehearsed together in London for a while with Cozy playing. Cozy was fired.
Oh, jeez.
And so he was gone again from the MSG band, and he'd invited me into the band as a friend. And so I was stuck there thinking, oh, no, this is deja vu, you know. This has happened before, you know. My friend leaves the band, you know, for whatever reason. but he was fired because of an argument. They had a terrible argument, him and Michael, one day. I don't know what it was about, and it's none of my business anyway. It ended up being a good thing for me because I had to write all these songs and start working on Michael's, all the new music, which was new to me because I had to actually write the songs and the melodies together. So I realize now I was actually a songwriter.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, and it was a good test for me to actually start doing lyrics and, learning how to write lyrics and melodies to these very long songs that were sometimes 11 minutes long. We had to edit every song, I think, because Michael just plays on and on and on. Guitar players.
Yeah.
And it didn't last very long, but that's another story.
But I mean, that story is a big. Look, I remember the press at the time. So your first show, and I don't even know if this is correct or not.
Yeah.
Your first show, what was it? You're drunk and indecent exposure. That's what's on the net. I mean, is this
true? That was basically it.
Is that it? I mean, well, why?
It's
why? Tell me
true.
why.
Whatever you read or heard is absolutely true, because I was completely out of it. I'd been drinking all day, and I had a bit of an argument with Michael about something or other, and the guys from Whitesnake there, they were opening up for us, and we went to the pub together in the afternoon, and went back to the dressing room, still drinking, blah, 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 blah. And then when it came to showtime, I had all the lyrics on the stage, stuck to the floor, because I had all these songs to learn. I couldn't remember them all from the old albums of Michael's, and the monitors were at the front of the stage, where they always are, obviously, but the audience pushed forward, and all my lyrics were all screwed up by the audience pushing forwards, because the monitors shifted and went all over my, my cheat sheets.
Sure.
So I was screwed. Thought, oh fuck. And at that point, or in the first song or something, I started to sing that I remembered. My fly broke, and out comes my penis, of course, because I don't wear underwear. And out it popped, and so I made it part of the act. And everybody was telling me to fuck off, and the whole thing was a shambles. I started swearing at the audience; they were swearing back at me. It was like a battle, and I got up the stage, toot sweet. I was out of there as quickly as possible, and the band actually had to finish the show off instrumentally without me. So I ran to a hotel where next morning I was put on a train back to King's Cross Station, and my manager met me there and told me I'd been fired from the band because we had a show coming up in a couple of days. It was a big show, and I said, well, look, I can do this. I said, please let them know I can do this. I'm sorry about what happened, last night or whatever, but this was just one of those things. It was a bad day, a very bad day, and they didn't trust my judgment at all. They thought, well, this guy is just a total, mess up. So I was fired, and I flew back to LA.
Oh, okay, we're at the Michael Schenker point of your life, but now you've come full circle. You finally, and I mean, you've only had one performance really in the past with Michael Schenker, I'm assuming, right? Really. Official.
It wasn't really a performance, as I said. It was a non-performance, because I was gone after like one song.
That's right. And here you are, years later, decades later, going back on stage. I mean, is his management worried you're going to pull up a stunt, 30 years later or something?
Yeah. Well, no, they know. I mean, everybody knows now. I haven't had a drop for almost 13 years now. I've been completely sober.
So how did it feel like going on stage with him?
It was amazing. It was, we smiled at each other in a knowing way, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
He looked at me, and because he's cleaned up too.
Yeah.
And we both looked at each other and went, yeah, this is good, isn't it? And there's a broad smile came across his face, and I haven't seen that smile for a long time. And I tell you, it was magical. Bless his heart. It was just nice to be up there and actually be sober and enjoy the music instead of just go through a haze. It was fantastic.
Did he pull you in a corner and saying, "Hey, Bonnet, you want to sing for me again?"
No. But it looks like we may work together again, the same as we've been doing here with my band and his band playing together, and sort of like doing a couple of songs together. And I sang with Doogie White last night.
He's great. Yeah. He's fabulous.
So we're doing that kind of thing, So this may happen again, and if it does, it'd be fantastic, because we've had such a great time here, and the audiences have just gone berserk.
It'd be a great package in North America, Michael Schenker and Graham Bonnet.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what we're thinking of. If we could do something like this, elsewhere, it'd be really, really good. And that's what we're working on right now, because I think Mike wants to do the same thing again. I think he'd like to do it.
Who would you say in your Alcatrazz years was you preferred as a co-writer, Yngwie Malmsteen or Steve Vai?
Steve Vai, absolutely.
And why?
No doubt, no doubt. Pardon?
And why?
Because he had the same kind of mindset I did about music and arrangements. We weren't really into, the kind of formula heavy metal, if you will.
Sure. Where
it was all about, sex and drugs and rock and roll, or whatever it may be, and whips and chains and dragons and mythical beasts, And we both thought it in a sort of a jazzy way. A lot of the stuff he plays is very jazzy. But he was a pleasure to work with. But at first, so was Yngwie. But then he got this ego thing going on, and that was the problem. The widdly guitar parts that weren't really a part of the band.
Sure.
He wasn't a band member. He was a soloist.
Yeah.
He needed to be a soloist.
Sure.
Steve Vai was a band member. There's a difference.
Yeah, yeah. So you have a new EP, a new 2-song EP called My Kingdom Come. I've heard the 2 songs, fabulous, 10 out of 10. Can you tell me about how you put it all together?
Okay, well, one song on that little EP is called The Mirror Lies, which is a song I wrote probably about a year ago, and we put that together, and it's all about the observation of people who go out into the street and think everything's fine, but never look back at the mirror, because the image you remember in your mind is the best one to go out the door with. Because if you look back, you'll go, oh, that hair's out of place, oh, something. You don't look quite the way you want to look. Anyway, that's the story about that. It's about Venice Beach in California and things like that. It tells its own story.
Sure.
And I think it's kind of cool. And we've had a great reception for that song. We played it in Europe, and people say, what is that new song? What's that new song? Anyway, that's called The Mirror Lies. The other song is called My Kingdom Come. And that's written by Russ Ballard, and I got in touch with him about 5 years ago, and we spoke on the phone about making up a song that had different elements in it, sort of like Queen or a bit of jazzy stuff or whatever, a little bit, a longer track than Since You've Been Gone, let's say.
Sure.
More inventive. And so we spoke about this, and we never did anything. I didn't do anything for 5 years, and just recently I sort of pulled it up and thought, oh, hello, what about doing this, with my new band? And so that's exactly what we did, and we put it down pretty quickly, and it turned out very well. And I'm pleased with both of those tracks. My Kingdom Comes, it's got a lot of vocals in it, so it took a while to do all that. There's a lot of, as I said, it's got that element of Queen in it, but it's got other stuff as well. There's a lot of Graham Bonnet in there too.
When we say, man, they don't make music like they used to, well, Graham Bonnet's still making music like they used to. And it's a 10 out of 10. And my biggest disappointment, I'll tell you right now, this biggest disappointment on this new 2-song EP is it's 2 songs. It should have been 10.
Oh, yeah, well, we're working on it.
Okay.
When we go home, we have probably another 9 or 10 songs in the same kind of vein or, genre. But there might be some surprising ones there. But we're going to do that when we go home, when we get back to LA, we're going to be working on that straight away.
What about, and what do you expect, like a year's time before you come out with a full album?
No, less.
Oh, perfect.
We'll be done pretty quick.
Wow. Okay, so what about, here's my request. You want to hear my request? I'd love to have a live album where basically it's your tour, right? The songs from from your catalog, from Alcatrazz, from Rainbow, a greatest hits live Graham Bonnet with the new stuff as well. Any plans for that? Yeah, well,
that's probably going to happen too.
Perfect. So there you go.
We've been talking about everything since this new band has been put together. We're working out a plan so this doesn't go down the shitter like a lot of things do, And it's not going to be just a project. It's going to be a livelihood, This is my life. This is all I do. And if when I die, it will be this. I will die playing music, Because this is my new baby, and the people I'm working with are fantastic, and it's just incredible. I'm just having so much fun.
So there you have it. New 2-song EP by Graham Bonnet Band. He's coming out with a new album. We're looking at a possible live album. He's going to be on tour, hopefully hooking up with Michael Schenker Group, maybe in North America, crossing our fingers. Graham, thanks for being on the show today.
Okay, man. You're very welcome.